Welcome back to Very Posh. I'm here sitting down with Alec Rios. He's a founder and CEO of Young Professionals Network. He is creating a community that is connecting entrepreneurs, creators, and the next generation of leaders. We're diving into his story and his vision and what it's really like to start something from scratch. Let's get into it. Before we jump into YPN, tell me about you. California kid, what part?
Yeah. So I don't know if you ever heard of the Central Valley, Fresno. Well, technically, it's a small town called Visalia. They say in that area there's more cows than people. But it was cool because I got experience to live in like a smaller town. By smaller town, I say like 100,000 people. But then I also had a lot of family in the Bay Area, Silicon Valley. And that's where all of the tech hub and everything really came from. Okay. So when I moved here to Austin and I got the opportunity, I'm like, wow, it's a really good blend of like the Southern hospitality that you feel being in the Central Valley in California, combined with how Silicon Valley is very growth oriented, entrepreneurial. So you find the best of both of that here in Austin, which has just allowed me to do some pretty cool things here.
Okay, so how long have you been here for?
I've been here 5 years now.
Okay, 5 years. Okay. So tell me a little bit, like, what was it like you growing up?
I would say that, so I grew up in, my parents are incredible. Both of them have just always poured into me, really believed in me, and I've been very grateful for that. I grew up playing soccer. My dad coached me for almost my whole life, so him and I are really, really close because of that. I have 2 sisters as well, and our family's been growing. We have Christmas happening in a couple of days, so I'll be heading out to California tomorrow, actually. Okay. So, yeah, it was a great childhood. As a result, I just kind of backpedaling a little bit. My dad coached me in soccer. I loved playing the sport. I was okay at it. I was never really the best, but I knew that in order to grow, like for college was always imposed on me. My parents weren't going to be able to pay for it necessarily, so I had to get some type of scholarship. Okay. So I ended up playing trumpet, and I was like, maybe if I get good enough at trumpet, I can get some type of scholarship for that. And I got close to a full ride scholarship to be able to play trumpet at the college that I went to. So I've always just been trying to grow, find creative ways to make things happen and kind of advance forward. And it's been pretty good.
Oh, I love that. That's amazing. Look at you playing the trumpet. I didn't see you as a trumpet player. Like, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it sounds more Latino. I don't speak Spanish, but I mean, we at our family get-togethers, we always have like mariachis and all that good stuff.
Okay. So. Okay. So when did you first get the itch to build something of your own, and what was that moment like?
So I used to watch this show called Storage Wars when I was 16 years old, maybe even younger. And it was just these guys that would find storage units that people didn't pay, and then they would end up selling it to just everyday people that can go bid at auction. And after they would buy it, they would go sell it on like Craigslist or find other places to sell it. So I started getting into selling at like a very early age, and I ended up trading up different things. Bartering as well was big on Craigslist at that time. So,
oh my gosh, that is so cool.
I remember at one point I started off with like a little chair, and then I traded someone up to be able to get like, it was another item. And then fast forward 5 trades, I ended up getting an Apple Watch that I wanted. But it took the span of a couple of months, but I was able to work and negotiate all the way up to getting the Apple Watch that I wanted.
I like that. You're like, I want it, and I'm going to figure it out how to get it.
Yep.
That's pretty cool. I like that. What was the why behind YPN? Like, what problem are you solving?
I got involved in entrepreneurship at 18 years old. And I remember going into it being very naive about the world, honestly, just because, again, I grew up in a great family. And when you go into business, there are some people that really do want to help you out, but there's also a lot of sharks that are out there as well, too. So I ended up going through some stuff where, I was rising up the ranks, and then I leaned into someone I trusted, a certain person, and it didn't end up going as good as I would have liked. I was also around a lot of successful people too, and I saw some people get very successful at a young age, but then they didn't have the character to sustain that, because in life what I found is that if you get success too early and your character's not ready for it, what could be seen as a blessing could actually be super destructive for you in your life. Like, for instance, have you ever seen the Elvis movie?
No, I haven't.
No? It's one of my favorite movies because it exactly outlines a story like that. 19 years old, he got extremely successful. As a result, he had more opportunities presented to himself that tempted him to go into drugs and all these other things. So you fast forward, you see his life at 42 years old, he ends up dying lonely in his penthouse, no relationship with his family, no relationship with his kids. And I feel like there's a lot of young professionals out there that might be in that pivotal area where they're about to achieve greatness, or maybe they're already achieving greatness. But it's like, all right, how do you still strive for greatness, but also be around people that are building with good values and good character? And I wanted to create that community that has, you know, those different elements together.
I love that. That is like such a great, like, the way that you put it, it just makes so much sense. Like, you don't really think about those things, but you're right. If you achieve it too early, you're not ready for it, you're going to fall into that. Yeah. You know, and you definitely do need like a community of people to surround yourself with the right people. Because that is that's a big deal.
And to add on that too, is because like isolation and loneliness is also one of the largest causes of suicide, of depression as well too. And people you would think that have a posture of success and like maybe on the outside everything looks great, some of them also might be pretty lonely. And it's hard to find people that operate on that same wavelength of wanting to grow and contribute as well. So we also have that contribution angle where we do different nonprofit pop-ups where 20 or 30 of us will go support a local cause, because also we want to emphasize, hey, this world isn't all just about you. Like, it actually feels good to serve and help people out and do something else like that versus just, you know, being all self-aggrandizing and just thinking that this whole world is about yourself.
I mean, I work by myself like most of the time, and I can find myself getting into that place where I'm like, okay, I need to get out. And I feel like that was one of the reasons whenever like we first met, which was interesting story. So let me just say that real quick. So Valerie, she was the first person that I interviewed. And she was the person that introduced me to you because there was nowhere to sit. And she asked you, hey, could I sit here? You're like, sure. And then you guys started talking. And then that's how we got introduced. And then from there, I was like, I looked at what you had on your feed. And then I noticed, I was like, oh, he was at Top Golf. He had an event there. I'm like, oh, this is cool. I like this. And then I'm learning how to play golf. So I was like, okay, these are my people. Like, I need to find out more about this organization. I want to meet people that have similar interests that I do, just something new. And so to me, I was like, okay, I'm definitely going to go to the next event, which leads me to, you know, talk more about your first event that you had at Top Golf. Like, how was it? Because, you know, were you nervous? Because you had a really good turnout.
Yeah, no, thank you. It was an interesting event because the marketing leading up to it, I had never really, I guess, put myself out on social media like that, where I'm making videos, we're promoting, and, you know, you feel kind of cheesy when you're behind the camera doing it. But I mean, that's the age of media that we're in. And the more you do it, the more comfortable that you get with it as well. So I mean, encouragement to anybody, like, you just got to start. And I also remember hearing this one, I forgot who said it, but they said, in order to make content, you need to be content.
Okay.
So, like, it's hard to make content and really put yourself out there if you're not content with who you are as a person. So as I've been involved in personal development for a long time, reading books and just trying to grow. So, and even now, I'm still working on it. I'm not perfect. But yeah, that first event, I guess what some of the most challenging part initially was the build up, the marketing, promoting of it. But a lot of it, though, too, was just people that were in my network and relationships that I had made over the years and people that I had been pouring into. So a lot of it was just inviting them and letting them know that we're launching something. And I feel like because of the vision that we had and the setup that we had for it, it ended up turning out really well.
I like that. I mean, it just looked amazing. And one thing that really stood out to me is how well put together it was. Like, I'm pretty sure it was maybe chaotic or a little disorganized, but you couldn't even notice that. I was like, wow, this is a pretty cool event. Like, I like it. The one that I went to, and by the way, I won 2 wine bottles and a wine tasting. And I was like, yes. But I really enjoy the people that, you know, that go, and everybody's like so excited to meet you. And I mean, and the first one was like when we did, it kind of felt like we were dating, you know, because it was like 5 minutes, and then it would switch.
It was the speed networking stuff.
The speed networking. I was like, oh my gosh, this is really cool. This is like the great way to like break the ice. So that was neat. I like that. So YPN is different though. Like you're doing like Thanksgiving dinners, run clubs, wellness events. Like where did the division come from?
Yeah. So when it comes to like the run clubs and the different Thanksgiving events, those are all in the plans to eventually like
Okay.
lean more into that. However, I have a good friend of mine. We were talking. His name is Matt Loopy, actually. And when I was initially, because when we first were starting this and launching this, I had like 7 of us get together, and we were just talking about the vision and ideas. And those were things that we'd like to do in the future. I was going to try to do that like right off the bat as we were launching it. But at the same time, I know like in business, if you become too scattered, you become mediocre at a lot of different things.
Okay.
So we could, I mean, decide to launch different health and wellness stuff immediately. But we were like, you know what, let's lean into 2 things that we'd like to get known for initially. Number 1 is hosting some of the best events in Austin for young professionals. And secondly, being able to have a real impact in the nonprofit space and really be able to help people. So like talking about, we just came back from a gala. A few of us were able to help out run a gala that happened, was that maybe 3 or 4 days ago? It was about 200 plus people that ended up showing up. It was a great turnout. We've done stuff for other nonprofits that have to deal with feeding children. So yeah, those are our two main focuses right now.
I love
though.
that. That's amazing. I really like that. I think that's another aspect of the networking event that you really try to help other people and figure out a way like, okay, how can I give that back instead of always taking? I want to be able to give back too. So that I love that. So what has been the biggest challenge in building this?
The biggest challenge, I guess this comes back to your previous question about the first event. So the biggest challenge was I was doing a lot of it on my own. Or there was actually, there have been a couple other people that have really been leaning into at the beginning. One of them, John, he's been like my right-hand guy where it comes to like, all right, hey, this is what our idea is. This is what we need to execute. How are we going to execute it? And even if he doesn't know how to do it, he'll figure it out how to do it. And he's just a great person. He's become a little brother to me. So just having someone in your corner that is also a believer in the vision is really important. So that was the part initially, recruiting the right team for us to be able to scale this. But as time's gone on, now we have 6 of us. And actually, I know we were talking and, you've joined our team as well to help with like some of the web development and which, I mean, huge shout out, by the way, like she created our website and it looks so professional because in business, you have to have a legit, I feel like you need to have, in order to be taken seriously online, you have to have a great presence on your website and then also on social media, but the website's very important. So like, thank you so much for creating our website and doing everything for that.
Like, I just feel like everything just aligned, we met and it just happened to align what I was looking for. It's like, I want to be able to give back too. And I was like, why not? So
yeah,
I love that.
So yeah, and it's just been awesome because what I've seen is if you have a vision in life and you really like, because my team knows, I talk to them constantly like, hey, this is what I'm dedicated the next decade of my life to, is building up this community to be like a force for good here in Austin. And then as we expand in other areas, like that's going to be what we'll be eventually looking at doing. But if you have that vision and if your team knows you're actually serious about it and like really committed, then that's when you're going to get the buy-in. But the most important thing, people ask, like I was talking to someone the other day, like, hey, what's the most important thing that you look for in a team? And for me, honestly, the first thing is someone who's a true believer.
Okay.
Like a true believer in the cause, in the mission, and where you're going. From there, yes, you want to make sure that they're competent and that they know what they're doing. And they also have to have good character. They have to be a good person as well. But having true believers, that's the tough thing to find. But once you have it, then growing can be a lot easier. So that's what I would say.
I like that. That's amazing. That's very true. Finding the right people, the right mindset. And like you said about John, it's like you don't have to know everything, but just as long as that you're willing to learn and actually like figure it out, because we're all trying to figure it out too, and it's like I can't always tell you what to do, and I feel that. I feel like the people that you have on the team are amazing people, and they're all like super excited to be part of it. You know?
No, I'm super grateful for them. I really am, because it's just one of those things where like us growing at the pace that we have, it wouldn't have been possible like if I was just running on my own. So
I like that. So tell me, what is the most rewarding moment? Like, when did you know it's like, okay, this is worth it?
What's the most rewarding moment? That's a good question. So I was talking to someone the other day who came to our event, and they said that they were able to do business together because of them connecting. There was another person who just moved to Austin as well, and he was like, "Yeah, man, I was hesitant to come out. I wasn't even gonna come, but I decided, you know what? I'm just gonna put myself out there, and I'm gonna go." And this person's very successful. They've managed social media channels for some influencers that are out there, but just moved to a new city, and just hearing about how welcoming the people in our group were to him, and how there's some maybe synergy as well for him to expand his business. It's just cool hearing those stories, because now it's like, all right, hey, we've just been able to form a good group of people, and there's just magic happens now. Like, magic happens when you get the right people in the room. And that's probably only maybe 1% of the other stories that I've also been hearing.
It's just, I've been to a lot of networking events, and I keep telling you this because I notice a lot of things. Like, I'm very observant, and also the type of people that do attend these networking events. And I've had the friendliest people, and I feel like most of them are new, so everybody's getting to know each other at the same time. So we're all kind of nervous too. So it's kind of like, okay, you're nervous, I'm nervous too. It's okay. Like, we'll get to know each other. I was like, and then next time that you see them, you're like BFFs.
Yeah, yeah.
And so I made a connection with one of the girls there, and we're not working together. So I was like,
Let's
yes.
go.
I told her, it's like, I wish I would have met you like 2 months ago. I was like, I really need you. And I was like, she goes, yeah, I got you. Like, what do you need? And I'm like, oh, thank goodness. So
Nice.
I'm telling you, you just never know who you're going to meet. You just have to like lean into it. If there's opportunities, like, you just got to go for it, you know? So I really enjoyed that part of it. And I think it was just like the right moment. It's like, I'm ready just to meet new people. Like, I was like a little, just being at home by myself and just working, and I was in my own little routine. And sometimes you just have to get out of it, because you know how you said you just kind of start feeling kind of down, depressed. And I was like, yes, I can so relate to that. And it's like, you got to go and hang out with people and surround yourself with the right, with the right group. So I'm just glad, we met. So yeah.
And one of the points I'll say on that too is, in life, you don't need permission to be a leader. I remember one of my favorite quotes, that's from John Maxwell. There's a lot of people who are, we'll say, in politics or in business, or there's people in all these different realms of industry that sometimes some of them don't have good character, but they're like extremely successful. Some of them aren't good people, but they become super influential. Why? Because they just decided to choose to go into the arena and, give it a shot. So it's like, all right, we need more people with the substance that, are good people to decide to choose to lead and take on things that maybe seem crazy. Like, what we want to do, we want to eventually host conferences where there's going to be thousands of people coming, where there's going to eventually have like incredible entrepreneurs teaching and adding value to the community. But again, number one, do I know how exactly we're going to get there? I mean, I do have a business plan, so I have some framework, but at the same time, to go from where we're at to there, like, I don't have all of the answers, but we're leading, we're choosing to grow in the process, where all of our team is committed to make it happen. And it's just, you don't need permission to be a leader.
Very true. As long as you have the will, the wanting, like, just the courage to do it.
Yeah. Courage, also the courage to look dumb, because like,
yes.
Yeah, because I mean, you look at anyone that's like, I mean, I know Elon Musk is super controversial these days, but like, you look at what he's done with Tesla, and he decided after having Tesla to go into the business where, I mean, all these different businesses he started from scratch, and he didn't know much about it. So he had to come in being like naive to the subject, having other experts come in and advise him. And then once he did that, then he learned how to do it, and then he took off. So you just have to be willing to look dumb, not take yourself too seriously, and know you're going to mess up along the road. But in life, people will forgive your mistakes if they're maybe a couple of mistakes if they're mistakes of competence, I guess you could say. But if you have like a character slip or something like that, those are the mistakes that can take people's careers out. But again, if they know you're traveling in the right direction, they know you're trying to do good, and you have like a couple little mistakes. Like our last event, not this previous one, but the one before, we forgot to bring cups. Like that's really important if you're gonna be serving people food. Like kind of need cups. So I mean, thankfully our team we were able to figure it out.
Yeah.
But little mistakes like that are forgivable as long as it's not other slips like that.
No, I mean, yes. I mean, there's so many details to event planning. And I mean, I wouldn't have noticed that. So I know you were talking about a little bit like what you see this network going, like this organization. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? Like, how soon do you want to start hosting conferences? Because honestly, I think that's a really great idea because you do have a lot of successful people that attend these events. And I feel like they have so much knowledge that they can teach other people and, make something happen. So I think that's pretty cool. I like that.
Thank you. I think in 2 years we'll be able to host our first conference. Maybe it's not going to be thousands of people, but it can still be a good group. We'd love to open up chapters of Young Professionals Network in different areas as well. So right now we're working on developing the system, on how we've built what we've built, things that would just help someone just plug in what we've done into their city, or maybe even other groups that are out there if they want to lean on some of the stuff that we've done. They can just use us as a resource. We're happy to just give information out. But we'd love to open up other chapters and then eventually get into the whole idea of running conferences.
So what is your next thing? Like, what is your next goal or the next thing that you want to start doing?
The next thing is we'll be launching a podcast soon, so that's one of them.
Yes.
But also, we do want to have a big event, whether maybe we'll do it at Q2 Stadium, maybe we'll do it somewhere downtown where we'll have 300-400 people. That's going to be sometime Q1. Q1, we're going to launch that event.
Okay.
So that's next in the immediate future.
Oh, okay. Well, that's cool. I'm excited for that.
Yeah,
Can't wait to get
and now, hey, we can, when we promote it online and people go to our website, they're going to be impressed by it. So
I love that. Yes.
It's going to work out. Which I don't think I've ever asked you too. Like, how did you even get into the whole like web design side of things?
Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, as an entrepreneur, you have to evolve. So I started designing invitations back in 2011, and I was selling them on Etsy.
Okay.
So I just needed a hobby. Like I needed something to do. I'm always been a person that I had 2 jobs. I'm always busy. Like, I don't know. I've never been just, okay, I go home and this is it. I'm just going to just hang out. Like, I've always been that person to stay busy. And I started learning Photoshop. I was like, I don't know. I need to figure this out. So I learned Photoshop. And then I learned Adobe Illustrator. And then I learned, the cloud, like the Adobe Cloud. It was just one thing after another, and it was just my curiosity. Like, I just love design, and I just love to make things look pretty, and that's just been my thing. So then people was like, oh, well, do you do business cards? And do you do websites? And do you do this? And it's like things just kind of like opened up doors. So that's why I always tell people is like, you may not know it, but lean into it because you just never know where it's going to take you. And that's where I'm at. Like now I set up CRMs, I do e-commerce, service-based businesses. We do branding. And then now I'm like, something's going to happen, like I don't know what the next thing is. I'm just kind of at this point, like, I just want to try new things. And I really enjoy like doing this kind of stuff and interviewing people. I enjoy, meeting new people. But as far as like designing, I think it's just, I've always had an eye and I just like making things look pretty and I love people. So I'm like, why not? So, and I remember the first time where I saw my design on a building and I was like, oh my God, like this is like so exciting. Like the moment for me that somebody put their logo on their building to promote their business. And so for me, that was like, this is like ultimate high for me. Yeah. So,
because I think that's so important too, because I know so many people out there who, whether they're doing something blue collar or they have a service that they offer and they're incredibly talented at what they do, but if people don't know about it or if they don't have the right branding, then sometimes like people will overlook how talented they are, or maybe they won't give them the shot because they aren't seen online the way that their actual work is portrayed. So
absolutely. I mean, we are visual people. And it's all about your online presence. You have to show up. And I mean, I'm guilty of that. I don't always show up like I need to, but you know, I feel like there's different seasons. I feel like there was a moment that I was just like, go, 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 like design, design. And then I took a little hiatus. I was like, I need a break. Like, you know, there comes a point where it's really hard for you to be creative, you know, and sometimes you just need to pivot and figure out, okay, like what else can I do that's going to make me feel excited? Because I feel like we all go through those moments where we're stuck and we're like, what else is there? I love what I do. I still want to continue helping people, but there's times where, you know, you do have those moments and you need to figure out what, okay, what am I doing? What's my why? Where am I going? And I think what's helped me really get out of that is hanging out with people that are excited about their business, and they kind of just like, you get some of that energy, like, and you're like, okay, I'm excited now. Like, and that's why I feel like it's so important to hang out with the right people, because it's going to take you to the next level, you know, and it's good to be around people that are competitive, you know, because they push you, and I love it, you know, so. And also another thing that's really helped me get out of that funk is exercising. Going to the gym in the morning. I was not a morning person. You know, I was like, I need to change something up about my life, because I need a routine. I need something, because I had my own hours. I'm here. I wake up early. I wake up late. You know, I'm working 10 hours, 12 hours. Like, it was so inconsistent. But going to the gym first thing in the morning has grounded me so much. So I feel like doing small changes to get yourself back on track is like essential.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And small changes, even in the sense of like what you said, you started off just being able to help people out with websites or help people with different designs. And this was a rare situation, I guess, for me in my life, that like I came into this already having a 10-page business plan on like what we're going to do and how we're going to go about doing it, when we only had like 3 people. But I learned that from everything that I had done in finance when it's come to opening, you know, some of the offices that we have. And it's just, when you get started and as you start taking steps forward, like you get from step 1 to step 2, and then from step 2, you can get to step 3. And by the time step 3 happens, your ability to process issues has increased so much just because you've skipped past 1 to 2, but you would never go from 1 directly to 4 if you wouldn't have gone through those other steps. So like, just for what you've built right now with Very Posh, and like what is evolved into and what is still continuing to grow into, it's because at the beginning you decided to try out, you know, web design, like all these different things that you were telling me right now.
And I've always been kind of like techie, nerdy, you know, so I was like, oh, let's learn a new software, you know, like what, you know, but I love it. Like I really enjoy like learning new software. Like, what can I do to make my life easier? Like, really, like, I just remember I used to work for the city of Round Rock, and any job that I always had, for some reason, they always put me to create processes. And I'm like, why do I get stuck doing this? This is so boring. And you know what I enjoy doing now? Processes.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm like, I already know how to, like you have to have steps how to get there. Like, how do you get one person from here to here? You know, and a lot of people don't think about the little details, you know, to get to this point. And that's what I do. I like look at all those little things.
And it's funny because they say in business, it's the boring things that actually make you money. And it's the boring things that can actually help your business scale and grow. So systems, like, it does sound boring, but like it's essential for you to be actually operating like a business.
Yes. Going back to where you were talking about the business plan. Okay. So a lot of people skip that. I skipped that myself. And I think because once you start like having your hobby turns into an actual, like, your full-time job, you know, that you're doing, you don't really think about having a business plan. And I think a lot of people just go willy-nilly, really. Like, that's kind of what happened to me. So knowing what I know now, sometimes you feel like whatever you're thinking or you're wanting for yourself is not achievable. So you're like, oh, I don't need a plan for that. I'm just going to just roll with it. And I feel, knowing what I know now, if I would have had a plan, I would have gotten there a lot faster. Because I would have been like, I can do it. Like, I can make this happen, you know, but I didn't feel like that at that time. So that's a really good advice to anybody starting. Like, think crazy, think outside the box, like put it down what you really want to do and work towards that, because anything is possible. But at that time I had no direction. I was just kind of like rolling with it. But that is such a smart move for you to actually have a business plan. And I know that a lot of people, even if to get a loan out, you have to have a business plan, but I feel like a lot of people don't have it, you know?
Yeah. And what I say to that is, I've been guilty of having what I call naive optimism in different seasons of my life, where like I'll have this big goal, but I won't have anything in between on like how I'm going to achieve it.
Okay.
And as if you don't have the actual tactical steps, the progressions that it takes to achieve that goal, then you won't be as motivated to go put in the work, because the work that you're putting in, you're like, it doesn't connect in your brain like that work's actually going to get you there. But if like we had little check marks where, all right, eventually we're going to have our Facebook group get to 100 people. Eventually we're going to have an event that has 50 to 100 tickets sold. Eventually, and as we're checking these things off, like our team is seeing wins that are actually happening. So we're stacking wins. So it's allowing more confidence to be like, okay, yeah, there is this big goal that we have, but we're progressing towards it and we're checking things off of the list. And I keep it, like I have this whole Google Doc where it's like, it shows what I had a goal and it shows it crossed off. And then like the list is getting smaller and smaller of things that haven't been crossed off quite yet. So, yeah, I guess when it comes to having those goals, yes, it's important, but it also can't be naive optimism, because you just won't put in the work that's required.
I like that. So you actually have like a list of your goals and you just start checking them off?
Yeah.
Oh my God, I need to do that. I need to set small goals like that. Okay.
Because we need to give ourselves credit, you know?
We do.
Like, yes, we have all these big, crazy things that we want to do in life, but like you got to pat yourself on the back as well too. And that was hard for me to do because, again, I'm very much tunnel vision about what we're wanting to do. But at the same time, it's like, yeah, we've actually made some progress. And because if there wasn't any progress, then it would be hard to justify continuing. I still would, but at the same time, like I'm not going to allow it to not have progress. Like even if it takes 12, 16-hour days, like especially leading up to an event, it is crazy. It's really busy.
Yes.
But this is what we set out to, and this is the work that it takes.
Have you ever started something and you're like, this is not going to work? Like where you have to have like a realistic moment with yourself where you're like, okay, it's time to pivot. You know, like have you ever had a moment with anything that you're done? Because this is your first time doing something like this, right?
Yeah, and in community building, kind of. Yeah. I mean, I would say yes, but I guess one of the things where I decided I had to pivot is a couple of years ago, I actually decided to launch a podcast. Okay. But then I realized where my energy was at that time, like other priorities that I had in my life, and it just wasn't the right timing. Because you can make the right decision. Is it true you should have a podcast? Yes. But with all the things I had on my plate, it just wasn't the right timing for me to be able to execute on that. So, I mean, I guess being vulnerable, like, that's one that happened. So that's why when we're leaning into this one, it's like, all right, before we really do step into it, let's make sure that the whole team is committed. We have the right resources as well to be able to actually do it for, 100+ episodes.
Nice.
And having a long-term mindset into it.
That's good. That's really good to have a plan like that. I mean, sometimes, like you said, it's not the right season for it, and you have to be in the right state of mind. Like, make sure that you don't have too many things on your plate. Sometimes I can be overly ambitious, and I'm like, okay, let's be real. Okay, we don't got that much time, but we'll save that for later. And, again, to be vulnerable with you, like I've been trying to launch something too, and it's just like every time I launch, I'm like, oh, it's not quite there. I'm not doing something right. And every time I feel like, okay, I'm almost there, and you have to tweak it, you have to make changes. And I'm like, okay, when am I going to know, like, if it works, it works. And if it doesn't, I need to pivot. I need to keep it moving.
Yeah. And I think, I forgot who said it, but being quick to make a decision, slow to change your mind. In that moment when I launched that podcast a couple years ago, it was a spontaneous decision. We're like, hey, it'll be cool. Let's just try it out. It wasn't as thought out or like methodical. And not everything in life has to be super methodical, because some of the things and some of the relationships that I've made in friendships is from spontaneous things. I'm very spontaneous. However, in business, again, there's that balance between being real, like with what's going to be feasible, and then also combining it with, the optimism that you have for the future.
You know what you're doing. I love that.
I mean,
grounded. You're very grounded for me. I'm like, I don't know. We'll just keep rolling with it. We'll figure it out. Like,
and that works though too. I mean, that does work because eventually, like that works as long as we're processing along the way and reflecting. Like, okay, what could have been better? What could we change? So I mean, the strategy works.
Like, would you give yourself like a deadline? Would you say, you know what, I'm gonna try it for this long, and if it really doesn't work, I need you to say, it's okay. Just it's time to change it. Like, how do you know when to change something? Like, how do you know you're like, okay, this is it? And you were like in your head, you were stuck with that idea, and then it just didn't work out.
I think I like the word you used, changing it, because I remember hearing, I think it was T.D. Jakes talk about, he was talking to his son. His son was about to go to college, and he was like, hey, I don't know if I'm gonna choose the right major. I'm so scared of being, freshman, and like I'm gonna ruin my life if I choose the wrong major. And he was like, son, if it's not the thing, one thing I can guarantee you is that it'll lead you to the thing. I'm like, such a good way to look at life, where it's like, all right, maybe this decision is not going to be what's going to be long-term for 50 years, but it's going to lead me to the thing that is going to shape my life in the direction that it's supposed to go. So that's how I guess, process different decisions that I'm making. But I am very stubborn, like when I set my mind to something, like again, this is something I'm dedicating the next decade of my life to building.
Right.
So I'm dead set on that. To change my mind, I don't think my mind could be changed on that right now.
Okay.
But I don't know, that's just, I guess, where it's at right now.
See, yeah, you're stubborn. I'm stubborn too.
Yeah.
No, but you have a great team, and I feel like, I mean, I know it's gonna go well. Like you're gonna do so good, and I see you going where you say you're gonna go. Like, absolutely,
Thank you.
So
I appreciate that.
Well, quick advice: what would you tell someone sitting on an idea right now, and they haven't pulled the trigger? Like, what would you give them, or what would you tell them? Be like, just go for it. Like, what would you say? What kind of advice?
I would say, think about like, what is it? Who has done something like that and has succeeded at a high level doing that?
Okay.
And if someone else has succeeded at a high level doing it, don't take it in an envious way, because sometimes you can see other people's success and be envious of it. Take it in a way of like, oh, wow, if someone else has been able to do that, then it's possible for me too. We live in a world of abundance. Now, how did they go about doing it? What was their angle in being able to actually execute on it? And if I want to do that, what's my goal maybe 12 months to 24 months from now? And who do I have to be in order to achieve that 24 months from now? Because a lot of times we focus on what the goal is, but at the same time, it's like, who do you have to be to achieve that goal? Because is the version of, like for me, even thinking of myself, is the version of Alec Rios right now capable of hosting an event that has 5,000 people come out to it? Can I do that? I don't think I can right now. We're leading up to it, but I'm constantly reading and personal developing. That way I can eventually be that person to run an or team that can execute that and be able to sustain and scale that even more. So that's what I'd say.
Beautiful. I love that. That is really good.
Thank you.
You're so good at this. Yes. So what's something about you that would surprise people?
I don't want to toot my own horn too much, but when it comes to ping pong, like there's only like one person that can beat me at ping pong consistently right now. And it's because this guy, he played ping pong in the military, and he has various deployments where all they would do is play ping pong for hours. I mean, that's not all they would do, but they would play ping pong for hours. So he got really good, and he won like some championship in Afghanistan. So he's the only person that can beat me right now. My dad, if he's watching this, he'll probably say he can beat me sometimes, but ping pong, I love that sport.
Oh, that's cool. Shout out to Dad. Well, Alec, thank you so much for being here. I mean, you shared a lot of knowledge, and if you guys want to check out Young Professionals Network, the description will be below, and you can connect, come out to the next event. Is there something that you want to share with the audience?
I'd say check out our website. That's where you can find all of our stuff, austinypn.com, and that's where we'll be.
All right, that's a wrap. Yay.
Cool.